Hey, this is Sully for antisocialnews.com, and this is Wednesday, August the 2nd, 2017, and I'm going to be walking you around the world, and when I'm going to make commentary, I'm going to put up this adorable little portrait of me made by a very talented artist. It's going to represent me as my webcam is not working, and you know what? That's good enough. So it's going to pop up here in the corner when I'm making commentary. And now we are just going to jump right into news stories from around the world. First, floods in Thailand killing 23 people. It might come as a shock that there's still a lot of infrastructure building needing to happen in Thailand, since Thailand's a pretty established country in the world at the moment. But you can see where people are still fighting for their lives due to heavy rains. AfricaNews.com is bringing us death of Kenya. Polls IT chief dominates papers. Protesters call for justice. Now, I think Polls IT, Kenya Polls, it's not capitalized there, but I believe that's like a polling agency. So the story really covers how this is the story and how people are reacting to this man's death, but it is causing outrage and protests all across the country of Kenya. Opposition reacts. Well, of course, the opposition is using it as a political situation, too. Moving on to India, where India and China are having a border dispute in certain areas. Peace in border areas, important prerequisite for smooth bilateral relations with China. So you can see this article covers about how there's troops on the border, and there's building projects going on from the Chinese side that India is pushing back against. So, yeah, pretty interesting story. It is heating up, so you're going to want to take a look at this if you care about world news. Venezuela, report out of BBC. We got Venezuela, the turnout figure tampered with, which I think nobody's really surprised by that because it's a dictator trying to consolidate his powers. But this is an ever-evolving situation where people are actively fighting against the government and people are dying. So keep an eye on Venezuela if you care about human life, if you care about democracy in the world. Moving on to a very sad story out of the Jerusalem Post. Arab man says he murdered Jewish girlfriend to free Palestinian prisoners, which makes about as much sense as me saying I'm gonna, throw my TV out the window to change foreign policy. He just murdered his girlfriend for no reason. I mean, basically the dangerous rhetoric that is normalized in the Palestinian areas inspired this guy to murder his pregnant girlfriend. Disgusting story. And, yeah, okay. Murder is not an effective political way of doing things. Okay, Times of Israel now. Over 70% of Jewish Israelis support death penalty for terrorists, says the poll. Now, this is another point, and let me jump back to this story here. Some of the dangerous rhetoric in the Palestinian area is that these Palestinian prisoners are exactly that. They're just imprisoned because they're Palestinian. It's political. It's political prisoners. Well, it's not. These are These are terrorists. These are people who were planning on doing terrorist attacks or were doing terrorist attacks and were arrested for being terrorists. So this is not a situation where these people are political prisoners, like in other countries where like in Venezuela, where people would speak out against the government, then all of a sudden they're arrested for sedition. This isn't the same thing. This is people saying we need to kill all the Jews, and rallying and trying to kill Israeli Jewish people, and they get arrested because they are actively trying to kill citizens. So yeah, this story is from the perspective of the Jewish people saying, "Hey, we support the death penalty for terrorists," which I'm kind of surprised that it's only 70%. It seems kind of like a no-brainer, doesn't it? Just if somebody was trying to kill as many civilians as possible and they got arrested doing so, I mean it's basically an enemy combatant in a time of war. So I don't really see what the confusion is about the death penalty, but that's just me. I am a gun-waving cartoon character. So I will move on to the next story here. Very interesting. Layers upon layers. Let's just go ahead and read this headline. Adding fuel to the fire. Russia blasts U.S. plans to supply lethal arms to Ukraine. Now, this is a big deal. This is an ever-escalating situation that occasionally has a surprising body count, and sometimes a surprisingly low body count for the amount of well-dressed uniformed servicemen on either side with all sorts of surface-to-air missiles and all sorts of things like that. We have kind of a weird stalemate situation over there that doesn't blow up into a huge amount of body count a lot of times. But what we are looking at here is America supporting Ukraine over Russia in this situation. And we are doing a lot of things to escalate that tension, including energy deals and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily have any problem with the energy deals. The arms deals, though, I do kind of have a problem with, and I do kind of agree with Russia on this, that it does add fuel to the fire, because the coalition government in Ukraine includes some pretty scary people, some pretty sketchy people, including some of our commenters there that I butt heads with from the 1488 crowd. Some of those people are in the Ukrainian government, and we are openly supporting them. So, I have civil rights issues with Russia and how they treat the gays, and but with Ukraine, they have some very normalized institutional racism over there too that I feel could definitely be addressed. Okay, I want to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to encourage people to subscribe. Look at this T-shirt. Look at this beautiful T-shirt that you could get if you subscribe. Look at my beautiful friend Robert posing in this beautiful T-shirt. You could get this shirt if you subscribe. You could. You know what? If you just emailed me and asked me, I'm probably going to send you a T-shirt. So subscribe. Show me you've subscribed, and you can find all our contact information in the description of this video. That's going to be it for this video. And you know what? Let's go ahead and just put it this way. If I enlightened you on a news story, you should subscribe. And I think that should be the rule from here on out. If I talk about a news story that you had not heard about, you should subscribe, because, I did something. I did something today, and I'm proud of that. And you should want to know more about your world and every part of it, and where people of your species, the human race, are fighting for their lives or losing them. This has been Sully for the Body Count Report. Wednesday, August the 2nd, 2017. Like, comment, subscribe.